Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to today's episode of The Fishing Teacher, and really appreciate you guys coming by the channel to hang out with me a little bit and check the video out. Today I'm going to give some tips and advice on catching bass on cloudy days in November. November usually is the start of those months where you have a lot of cloudy days. November and December and January, it seems like it's cloudy a lot. And there's definitely some certain techniques that work good on those cloudy days in correlation with your water temperatures. So got a good little seminar for you guys today we're going to talk about. Also, guys, since it is getting close to winter, I just want to invite everybody to please swing by and check out my Fish the Moment lake map breakdowns for fall and winter. Got them up on the website right now. These are maps I build specifically for Fish the Moment that gives you guys 40 good GPS waypoints to begin your search at. It's a really good resource to learn more anything you want to know about your favorite lake. So I'll put the Fish the Moment lake map breakdown link in the description. And also, if you do get a map, please feel free to shoot me a message on my Facebook page, a private message, Randy Blocker, Professional Angler, and I can answer any questions you may have on the maps you get there. So link in the description of the video here. Appreciate that. Okay, we're talk a lot about seasonal stuff here on the Fishing Teacher. So we've been talking a lot about fall fishing here lately, and a lot of different variables to that, again, based upon the weather conditions, because I think that probably November, there's the biggest, November has the biggest impact as far as your technique goes, as far as catching bass based upon the weather than any other month. I've never seen a month like November that is so weather dependent as far as the techniques that work or don't work. So cloudy days are obviously going to be your best days. Some of the toughest fishing days you're going to have are those sunny days in November. But you get a cloudy day in November and it really lights those fish up a lot. A lot of it also has to do with the correlation of the water temperature. You're going to find that your most active November bass are going to be when that water temperature is sort of between 55 and 65 degrees. Now, based upon the weather patterns that move through the country, come and go, different times, different years, different weather patterns, you're going to have that water temperature ranging between 55 and maybe 70 degrees in November in a lot of lakes across the country. So ideally, in my opinion, if you have water temperatures between like 57 and 62, perfect for November fishing on cloudy days. Now, one of the first things that you have to remember is that once you have that water temperature in that range that you're talking about, there's a couple different factors that will determine the technique and where you want to fish and how you want to fish on those cloudy days, because not all cloudy days are created equal. You can have a cloudy day out there where you have cloud cover, but it's sort of that thin cloud cover, and maybe the sun peeks out just once in a while occasionally, and then you can have, thicker cloud cover, almost to the point where it's raining or getting ready to rain, where it's thick cloud cover and your light levels are a lot lower. So not all cloudy days are the same. There's one thing you have to remember about it. Now here's some stuff here's some subtleties about it. I want to go into this. If you have a day in November where you have sort of like the light clouds, where it's completely cloudy out, but the light intensity is still a little bit brighter. It's like it's cloudy, but there's no chance of rain. In other words, thin cloud cover everywhere. When you get the thin cloudy cloud cover, one of the best ways to catch them in November, guys, is a topwater lure. Buzzbait and a walking topwater like a spook or that Megabass Diamante is my two best choices with that. Also, guys, I will link all my favorite cloudy weather November baits in the description, my Tackle Warehouse description, in the link of this video if you guys want to get some of my suggestions on there. So that the buzzbait and the walking topwater is going to be really good. Now, how I determine that is based upon water clarity most of the time. If I have a cloudy day in November and that water visibility is under about, say, 3 foot or so, say if it's in that 1.5 to 3 foot zone, that's where I like the buzzbait. The buzzbait fish really shallow on those type of days are a really good way to catch them. Most of the time in November when it's cloudy on that buzzer, I'll use a black buzzbait. That Megabass Jamaican bow is my favorite, and I throw it around rock. Any type of riprap banks, rocky points, rock, and a buzzbait is going to be really good on those cloudy November days in that water clarity. If the water clarity is a little bit cleaner and you have the cloudy days that still have some pretty good light intensity, that walking topwater is going to be really good if that water visibility is over 3 feet. My two favorites is that Head and Super Spook. I catch a lot of fish on that Super Spook, and that Megabass Diamante. And you can't go wrong with fishing flatter points. Flat points in November on cloudy days with a walking topwater, if you have water visibility of over 3 feet, it's almost guaranteed. It's a really, really good way to catch them. Another way that I'll catch them in November on that walking topwater is just covering water in the coves. I'll get back in some of the flatter coves, like off of the major creeks, and just burn the bank with that thing, cover a lot of water with it. And try to find those areas that don't have a lot of wind on them, but just a little breeze. It seems like if you can get on the buzzbait and the topwater on those cloudy days, just a little chop on the water, maybe about like that much, perfect for it. Slick calm's not that great. Obviously windy's not that great. Now, as your cloud cover increases, as far as the light, you have a correlating reduction in light intensity. Let's say you get out there in November and you have one of those days where it's getting ready to rain. Low light conditions, maybe it's sprinkling a little bit, maybe you have some light rain, but in other words, a cloudy day. In November, again, when that water temperature is between 55 and 65 degrees, you cannot beat a spinnerbait. This is, in my opinion, there's the two best months of the year to fish a spinnerbait, in my opinion, are March and November, if you have those right conditions. But if you've got a day where, like I said, heavy overcast conditions, I don't care if your water visibility is a foot or if it's 10 foot, spinnerbait is a key lure. Now, there's two different types of spinnerbaits I use in November based upon the water clarity. If that water clarity is under 3 feet, and you got water temperatures in that range that I talk about, guys, go with a big spinnerbait, like a 3/4 ounce spinnerbait with some big blades on it, like number 6 Colorados, number 6 willow leafs, a big, large profile spinnerbait. Fish shallow in and around whatever cover you're fishing. It could be rocky banks, next to docks, next to lay down trees. Probably my favorite is some type of just a rocky bank, fishing that big spinnerbait around. But if that water's cleaner, that's when you're burning a spinnerbait. You guys have heard me talking a ton, guys, about this Megabass SV3. I'll link it in the description. This is my favorite November lure. This is a burning spinnerbait. And if you got water visibility of over 3 feet and you have one of those dark, low light days, guys, this is basically the only bait you're gonna need. There's not a lake in the country where I have not caught them on that. When you got water temperature 55 to 65, heavy overcast, especially if you got some wind, you can take this little burning spinnerbait and don't let it get over about 3 inches under the surface. Throw it out there, reel it in at a medium fast speed just under the surface, and cover water on those wind-blown banks, wind-blown rocky banks, wind-blown points. It doesn't matter if it's clay point, sand point, rocky point, but any type of a windy point in clear water or a windy rocky bank. Not necessarily, they don't really get around wood that much, but try to concentrate on those rocky wind-blown areas with this little SV3 spinnerbait. It's a great way to catch them. But mainly, guys, in other words, to make it simple, if I have a cloudy day, it doesn't matter what type of cloud's in it, I'm either throwing a topwater or spinnerbait in November. That's basically the only two lures that you need, unless you want to get out there and spotlight for fish. But if you want to just catch some fish, regular bass fishing, get you a big spinnerbait, a ripping spinnerbait, walking topwater, and a buzzer. You'll catch a bunch of fish. So hope it helps out. We'll talk later.